Mark Schlereth talks the state of the game with Gen Z football fans. Let's see whose side we're on. Alright guys, today we're watching one Super Bowl champ versus 10 Gen Z NFL fans. Let's get into this.
Slows down finesse.
This is Mark Schlereth.
Getting punched in the face.
This is top tier old man battle.
There's not a game that I played in the National Football League where I didn't black out.
Are you watching to get people's heads taken off?
Yeah, I like contact.
Me too, yeah,
That's
you're
right.
right, yeah.
You know who had a 99 rating? Me, because I whooped ass and took name on the football field, not playing a video game. Hey, Mark Schlereth here. I'm a 12-year NFL vet, a Pro Bowler, and a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and I'm about to school Gen Z NFL fans, so let's get started. My first claim.
The take he said about watching people get their heads taken off. Yeah, man. Like, I was actually talking to a coworker today, and one of the things we were talking about football, it's like, dude, one of the things about football that was so cool was that it was hard. Like, people that got on the field were doing something pretty risky and dangerous. You know, and you had to be physically tough to play football. That's what made it so cool. And now it's just not like that as much. It's like, what the fuck?
Is that fantasy
You lose the identity. It starts to wear, like, you know?
football has ruined a generation of football fans.
I agree with that. And also it has created an economic impact which is ruining the game. It's like a cyclical effect. It's ruined fans by making them care about individual success. Like Michael Thomas, who was a tier 2 receiver, got tier 1 love for like 2 seasons because of his fantasy success. There are so many examples of things like that happening. And then, you know, he gets paid because of it. And then it changes the way the game is played because people change rules. It's just crazy, man.
Oh, we got glasses, man.
The system can make a player and make his stats look really good when on the field he's actually not that good. Julio Jones got double-teamed for like 4 years straight. He had people bracketing him. His fantasy stats were not the best, but he was the best receiver those years. There's so many examples of that. Of running backs, too, who depend on their O-line and gain a lot of success because of their O-line. Running backs who are great, whose O-lines... Look at Saquon when he was in New York. Didn't do nothing. There's so many examples of that. And it skews everything.
What do you think of Taylor Swift's impact on the modern NFL?
What do I think of Taylor Swift's impact?
As a Bronco, I know it may be a sore subject. She's with the Chiefs. But...
No. I was whipping their ass when I was playing, so it doesn't really matter. Obviously, it brings eyeballs to the National Football League. It brings a female demographic to the National.
Yeah, but do you want that, really? Do you want those eyeballs? Like, do you want all these girls, man, watching football who don't get it, and you're trying to, like, now you want to keep them because they bring money, and you're starting to change the game. Plenty of girls get football, yes, but you're bringing Swifties, right? Like, is that really what you want? And you're going to lose your core audience doing shit like that. This gimmicky shit over and over again. Stop showing her on the screen. Just stop. You don't show every celebrity that goes to these games all the time, right? And if you do, that's insane. But you shouldn't, even if it was Jay-Z. If it was fucking anybody else, and you showed them that much, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, Jay-Z, this motherfucker is a rapper, bro. He's a rapper. Let him fucking rap. I don't want to see him. I want to see my football, bro. These guys put in the work. Weight room. Decades in the weight room. And they're on the field hitting each other, putting their fucking bodies on the line. And now they get less screen time than Taylor Swift. She already got her own career. Like, let her have that, bro.
Football League. So for that, from a growth standpoint...
You know how much sacrifice it takes to become a National Football League head coach? You know how much you have to risk? You know how much grind you have to take to fucking get to that level in the profession of coaching? They don't get nearly as much love as Taylor Swift. I mean, not the head coaches do, of course, but you get what I'm saying. Like a coordinator, like you don't even see these guys on the TV. You're putting Taylor Swift on the screen damn near more than some of these players that start.
Economic standpoint, Taylor Swift has had a huge impact on the National Football League.
That is why...
Fuck economics. That's what ruins everything. I'm not going to lie. That's where it all starts, bro. Is economics. People wanting to make money instead of making it about the best quality competition, and then it starts to decay. You need people in place in the commissioner's seat and in the other seats that are not solely in it for business interests. Of course you want to make money, but you're going to make money. Football is a very popular sport. You got to put the best product out there. The best football, not the best entertainment, right? How far are you going to take that entertainment shit? You're taking it way too far right now, but you're going to keep, are you going to keep going? Like, what's up with that?
Fantasy football might be the best thing to happen in the NFL in the past 20 years. It is such a growth factor thing. It involves everyone.
Yeah, but the only thing he's going to talk about is growth and getting people involved who should not be involved. This is not, look, man, you got to make sacrifices to be involved in football. You shouldn't just be able to claim you know football because you won a fantasy league with your boys. And you spent the entire year gooning, choking the fucking shit out of your meat. And you went on a draft and you did some shit twice a week. You fucking like looked at your fantasy shit for like 2 hours. You watched a couple football games with beer in your hand and yelled at your TV. That doesn't make you a football person. It doesn't make you a sports person. You're not like legitimate in any way for that. And people really have this delusion that they are. It's a problem, actually. It dilutes the narrative. And not only that, it's like the league itself is selling out the core fans and core people who are actually football people to sell to these people. It's ridiculous, man. Football should be a thing of honor. Like, I made this analogy on TikTok a while back. It's turned into like shaking ass, bro. It's like being at a strip club and shaking ass, straight up. Being an athlete now, you're just shaking ass. You're twerking. You're doing the crossover. You're doing between the legs, behind the back, twerk. That's what you're doing. You're not competing, and people are watching you because you're great at competing. You're doing what people want to see. You're working for them. You're an entertainer now. You're no longer an athlete who people watch out of respect. Yes, there's a little bit, but like it's more like, you know, hey boy, shake that ass for me. Shake that ass for me. I'm not gonna buy a ticket. And then the commissioner was like, yeah, shake that ass for him. Shake that ass. That's your pimp. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's bullshit, bro.
People who had
That ain't right.
no interest in the NFL say, oh, well, I'll join a fantasy league.
And
Suddenly,
they shouldn't be.
you know Tank Bigsby is. You care about the depth of the Jaguars running back room. It increases ball knowledge. It gets people who had no concern with the game whatsoever involved. That in turn brings more money, broadens the horizons, lets the NFL spend more money scouting players, drawing guys away from the MLB, NBA, get guys like Jordan Mailata out of Australia, find fantastic players, all because the reach is broadened due to the money fantasy football has brought in.
There's no question that fantasy football has brought...
He makes some good points, right? The reach does broaden, but at what cost?
eyeballs and has created excitement. That's not what I'm saying. It's ruined a fan base because they don't understand what's in.
Let's be real with ourselves, okay? I love football. I used to love football more than I do love football now, but I love football. Football is a niche American sport. I say that all the time, and it sounds terrible to the business owners that run football organizations. It's a niche American sport. It's for Americans to enjoy and as a core part, a cornerstone of American culture. That's what it is. It's not a global sport. And it shouldn't be. These other countries can't do it like us, man. They don't have a... Bro, there are weight rooms here that probably cost as much. There are football weight rooms in America, at Division I institutions in America, that probably cost more than entire cities, entire states, districts in certain countries around the world. One weight room. They don't get that, bro. I mean, yeah, but you don't need to be trying to do that, man. You don't need that much money, dog. Take your millions and that's good enough. You don't need to make this a huge, it's football, all right?
Important when it comes to playing football. Fantasy football is all about the sizzle and not about the steak.
Facts.
When I go to a steak restaurant, I don't order a plate of sizzle. I want a freaking ribeye. That's what I want to have.
I enjoy myself some fajitas when that plate's cracking on the way
so
out.
I love this. Yeah, there's no question. I love it.
I bet you 3 of these guys played football past middle school. This guy, I don't know about you. If you did, I would fucking crack you, take your head off. You too. You, good Lord. I've seen this guy before. This is a guy from the NBA shit. The fucking Skip Bayless. So that's a super fan. He ain't no football player. I don't know about him. He looks like he might have played. He looks like he's kind of big. You know what I mean? But why are we listening to this guy?
But I want the meat.
And not like, I mean, he might have played. He might have played like at the high school level or something.
That's what I am there for. And the problem...
By the sounds of it, he didn't. He probably, if he did play, he played for a team that fucking sucked. And all it took to stay on that team was just signing up.
It is created both in the...
Getting an A in math class. Not pissing off the teachers too bad.
The league, I think, and from a fan base, this over-the-top...
If you don't invest yourself into the game, then you don't really have a stake like that.
...feel for the importance of certain players and certain position groups. For instance, you have an 88 jersey on. CeeDee Lamb?
Des Bryant.
Des Bryant, okay? Because CeeDee Lamb's got greasy fingers. So,
exactly.
So you have created a situation where people overvalue wide receivers. Wide receivers are like children. One, they're dependents. 10 other guys have to do
That guy doesn't look like he played football either. The last guy on screen.
their job for a wide receiver to sniff a football. So they're dependents, and they're whiny unless they're fed. They're just like children.
This guy...
And the bottom line for me is that we have become fascinated by this group that doesn't win or lose you football games for the most part. The bottom line is that...
That's funny, dependence, yeah. Receivers, I mean, I played receiver and safety in high school. I played DN growing up. I played quarterback. I played mad shit. I'm not going to lie. I played mad different positions throughout my football life. I've coached receivers. I've done recruiting. I've done film breakdown for D1s. I've done mad shit, bro.
fans need to start to
But that guy knows about football, right? That's true. I don't know shit. You're right.
understand.
I have 2 district championships. 2, not 1, 2. 2013 Northern Virginia Region Scholar Athlete.
And what wins. And that's trench warfare. That is winning the line of scrimmage.
He's also the first Indian kid to play for my football program in the school's history. Play varsity. That's real. And that's not a big... That don't mean nothing, but, like, you know, we're breaking barriers and shit. You hear me? Like, you feel me? Like, that's significant, bro. Like, you got... Indians don't play football like that, bro. That means that we're making progress culturally. Anyway, neither here nor there.
That's what wins football games.
So you're upset there are not offensive linemen in fantasy football is what I'm getting.
There should be.
I agree.
There should be. If we've got a great back and you picked a great back, you know what I should get? I should have picked that offensive line. And if that great back has a great day, then guess what? I get a benefit as well because that's where the game is won in the trenches.
I'm not going to defend the frisbee catching dogs, but I will say, how many fans of Kiss know to play the guitar? Like the average fan of a band of a sports team is not going to know the intricacies of it, but still the eyes watching and the money it brings in as well allows the league to be great, as well allows these bands to be great.
Do you think this generation would have more understanding of that without it? I doubt it. I don't think the average Joe, my uncle in 1995, understood the difference between a gap run and his own run. I don't think that was going to be present regardless. So while it'd be nice if trench warfare was highlighted, I think you're probably better off bringing in the massive audience we talked about with fantasy and having them.
Right.
If you bring in 16 million people,
Yeah, but the problem is now, right? The NFL changes rules to try to keep these fans and like increase the engagement. That's the problem. Bro, imagine if we just kept hits in football. You know something about MMA? You want to know something about the UFC? It's the most watched sport. It actually, okay. Dana White said this, okay? Including socials, not just TV, including socials. On socials, it's more watched than the NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL combined. MMA is. So that means people are going to come to the sport if you just stay authentic. They don't change MMA to help to appease viewers. Oh, well, you know, Charlie's mom doesn't want to let him play football this year because she's afraid he's going to get hurt. Okay, so fuck Charlie. So, bro, like, you know what I mean? Forget Charlie, bro. We're not worried about Charlie. Charlie can go play basketball. He can go play baseball. Jimmy can go play, probably not hockey. He's not going to let him play hockey, right? Jimmy can go paint his fingernails then, okay? Go ahead, Jimmy. Go play with your hair and play with Barbie dolls. Who fucking cares, dude? Let him go do that. You can't change the sport to try to capture everyone and appease everyone. Dog, I remember when I was in high school, we had a drill called dogfight, okay? Like, fuck even the schematics of it. I'm talking about the culture, the identity of the sport, right? We had a drill called dogfight. This shit was my favorite drill, bro, because I used to be able to just turn my brain off and go run into people way bigger than me that were probably going to fucking hurt me. And just, fuck it, who cares? Bro, that's the most freeing feeling, really. If I die, I die. If I die, I die. Bro, that's the most free you will ever be, is in that moment when you're running into the biggest, darkest motherfucker on your team. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by dark, bro. Let's just pretend I mean dark personality. You know what I'm saying? Bro, like, there's something cool about that. Like, fuck it, bro. And we used to just fucking hit each other at practice. They'd have to turn the cameras off because the shit we were doing was not kosher. They'd be filming it from the shit, you know what I mean? They'd be like, hey, tell the manager shut that shit off, boy. We're about to do some criminal ass shit right here with a bunch of high school kids. And that shit is still some of my best memories. To this day, shit, I might not remember all of it. But, you know, bruh, like, come on. Bro, lights out. Kids breaking their arms and walking off with their fucking shit dangling. Like, dog, we were ruthless, bro. And then I would go into school the next day and look at people and just be like, you could never be me. Like, I'm better than you because I play football. That's literally how I'd be feeling, bro. And the thing is, like, it was true, too. At the time, back in the early, like, 2010s, that was dead true. You walked into the school, and whoever you saw around you, it was like, dog, you do pussy shit after school. I play football. Now it's like you play football. It's like, you play football. Like, make sure, you know, you got the right tampon in tonight for the game. It's Friday night, you know. I got some extras. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just takes away, man. It just takes away.
I bet 100,000.
I'm kidding. It's not that bad.
Will go learn what a duo run is. Before, I don't think the numbers bear out that you're going to have a more educated fan base without it.
I don't think you're going to have a...
Yeah, but the thing is, you'd have a more... In the way that investment was required to actually get into football, you actually had to, like, go play football, do something to understand football, to really be a fan of football. I'm sure people were still uneducated or just, like, passerby fans, but there was less of that. Now there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
Not necessarily a more educated fan base. You're going to have a fan base that...
And then people in school would always be like, oh, why are the football players so cocky? Why do they think they're better than us? And I wasn't even... Bro, I barely played. I'm telling you right now. I barely played. But guess what, bro? At the end of the day, see me outside. That's how I felt, bro. Real shit. Like, I'm just a more violent, aggressive man. I'm physical. I'm like that. Like, you don't want to see me in any arena, period. And the thing is, that actually built my character so much, I can't even begin to describe it. I be taking shit, like, on the chin, bro, in life. Like, anything that happens to me is like, man, fuck it, whatever, we ball. I've dealt with worse than this. I got decleated one time. Shit, I've dislocated my fucking finger one time. Fuck it. He just called me something. He just said something to me. He said something to me. Whatever, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
appreciates the teamwork that it takes to...
But now we have guys in the football space, in the community, who are contributing to the narrative, who wear tampons. Straight up, like, literally.
Actually create success. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue with me. Like, when I get with fan bases, argue with fan bases all the time, right? And, like, I'll take the Cincinnati Bengals, for instance, right? They signed both their wide receivers, and everybody's giddy, Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, they had 7 yards of total offense in the second half.
You don't pay that much to receivers, by the way.
They did.
Joe Burrow got the shit beat out of him in that particular game. Those are the things that bother me. Like, you get arguments with a fan base of this generation that...
You don't think the owners are in on these personnel conversations with the coaches? Like, yo, look, we'll keep you around. You're probably going to lose, but just pay these guys with the GMs. And they don't sit there. You don't think they all sit there? You don't think during the interview process there's some owners that look for coaches who are willing to just abide by the owners' decisions to make the most money? You don't think some franchises do that? And think about it, if winning was the way to make money, and that was the only real way to make money, how much more integrity would the game have? But it doesn't. Jamar Chase, you can sell mad Jamar Chase and T. Higgins jersey, so pay them. Guys, pay them. It's okay. Look, whatever the fuck his name is over there. No disrespect. Whatever the fuck the head coach's name is, right? Listen, buddy. Here's another $1 million, okay? Keep that. We know you're gonna go 6-11 this year, okay? That's fine. Just pay these guys. I'll give you a cut of whatever we get on the jersey sales under the table. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll keep you around like 2 or 3 years, and then, my buddy over there will take you. Trust me, you're going to be good. You're going to get an OC job because, I got connections, and, just let me get this money right now, okay? Let me sign these guys, sell these jerseys. You don't think that shit is happening, bro? You think every owner is like, yo, we got to win. Like, what's the best decision right now? Like, it's okay. I'll spend more money if I have to. It's okay. Don't worry about the jersey sales. Don't worry about the tickets. You think every owner is doing that? You think they're all doing that?
Values those guys, to me, like I said...
Zach Taylor, is that his name? I'm not saying that he did that. I'm just saying that you don't think that's happening, though, somewhere? Like, come on.
Or dependent players, then I think they get too much credit. And those are the things that bother me. Like, as a kid growing up, I want to know how the game worked. And obviously, I played the game, right? And I was a fan of the game. But I think we have created a less educated group of people in general. And the other thing I don't like about fantasy is if you really are, I'm assuming you're a Chargers fan?
Yes.
God bless you. So when your team is playing and you're playing against a team where you have a receiver from that team, like, are you rooting for the Chargers or are you rooting for your fantasy team? Like that, as a player,
Are you watching the full game with context? Like how pivotal this third down is? How pivotal is this second down at this point in this series, in this game? Or are you just watching Red Zone? Are you watching Fantasy Alert Zone channel? Whatever the fuck they got these days, man. I don't watch football like that anymore, to be honest with you. I really don't. Even if I watch football, I just be on my phone. Because I'm not even interested in this shit anymore. It just bugs me, like, sometimes, for real. Like, I'll watch, but it's not the same. Like, it's not the same, bro. Like, I'm not watching a strategic effort. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. I'll say that. Like, I'm not watching a team work together to push the ball down the field and strategically win a football game. I'm watching a chuck fest for the most part. Field position means nothing anymore. Come on. Field position means zero. Be honest. You get the ball at the fucking 6 or you get the ball at the 40, it doesn't fucking matter. Yes, like that's the difference. But like the difference between getting the ball like at the 20, 25 or the 35, the 40, like going back and forth, pinning somebody, like that shit means very much less, way less.
Bothers the shit out of me that you were like you're a Chargers fan and yet you're playing the Broncos and you have Cortland Sutton and you're rooting for Cortland Sutton to put up yardage and TDs, and those things bother me.
That's the other thing, bro. I won a fantasy league one time, but my rule when I play fantasies, I don't pick I don't pick people from my division, from the Skins division, from the Commanders division. I don't pick NFC East players, so that cripples me obviously in fantasy. Because if people know that, and people know that about me, people know when I was in the league with my boys that one time, which I don't even do anymore. Also, I don't even get invited to play fantasy anymore. Anyway, different fucking subject, whatever. The point is, like, that people know. People are like, all right, he's not going to pick Saquon this round. I can get him next round or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave all the NFC East players. And I would just not pick him. There was a year CeeDee Lamb went off. CeeDee Lamb was by far the best player on the board. Didn't take him.
Me, as a purist, as a football guy.
Yeah, all that makes sense. But I think in general, no matter what the avenue was that brings in a mass audience, there will always be a big bucket of them that come in and are entry-level fans that come in for the most casual aspect. Like you said, they want to watch receiver, catch touchdown. Ooh, it's fun. But there will also always be a funnel towards more education from that group. That element exists regardless. Whether or not the largest pool is coming from watching on Fox or watching on your phone following stats, there are always people that go to that. Like you mentioned the offensive linemen and stuff. I guarantee you, people who have a dynasty football league in which they have Chase Brown on it, they are well aware of Dylan Fairchild being drafted to that team and how much they pray to God it will make their run blocking better. Like, there is dedicated fantasy fans that know all about the offensive linemen, know all about the coordinators that come in and the impact of that. Everybody is well aware that it's good for Travis Etienne that Leland Cohen came in because he made Bucky Irving good. Like, there is dedicated levels of fans that understand all these things, just like there is people that don't know shit about any of these things. That's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Fair. That last guy knows what he's talking about, for sure. Sometimes he seems a little rehearsed, but he knows what he's talking about.
For my next claim, the offensive line is the most skilled position in football.
For me, the better operative word would be the most undervalued position in football, because I think we've seen fans fall victim to it. Where you talk about,
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to say that the offensive line is the most skilled position. It's not. There's not that much skill. I mean, there is, of course, but like a receiver with releases off the line, there's more skill in that. Like, let's be real. Quarterback, bro, different like ways to escape conflict, escape pressure. I don't know what the fuck that was. But anyway, to escape pressure and to a DB, eye discipline. I mean, DB is pretty simple too. Football's not complicated, to be honest. An O-line, there's some complications when you're just picking up pass pro, and you got to account for different potential blitzes, twists, stunts, shit like that. You'll see people in the box, and you got to account for the pressure, and then they might be bluffing. Like, there is some complexity to O-line. I wouldn't say it's the most skilled position, though.
fantasy earlier, how they don't truly
Especially because based on the system, you're actually only doing a few things.
Appreciate the offensive line. We see some general managers fall victim to it. Joe Shane and the Giants, they rely on Andrew Thomas, who is an elite player, to make their offensive line at least average when it's a unit of 5, and it just hasn't worked out for them. So for me, that'd be the better word. And I think also the average fan doesn't understand how skilled players have to be to play each position at the highest level. Because I personally have had the opportunity to watch Ricky Proehl train some wide receivers who played in the NFL. I'm sure you know him, played with the Rams, played for 17.
Bro, a good offensive lineman's kick step is fucking vicious. If you really watch that shit and hone in, like, that shit is just dope, bro, to watch, straight up.
Years,
Ricky.
And the pace at which receivers have to digest things, the pace at which they need to understand the offense, how hard they have to run every single route, I think that average fans don't understand. And then quarterback, I ultimately think, is the hardest and most skilled position because they have to know what everyone's doing. They have to be able to throw the ball 30 yards down the field. They have to operate the offense. So for me, the word would just be changed to most undervalued and underappreciated versus like most skilled.
It's the most skilled, and I'll tell you exactly. Okay. I'll tell you exactly why you're wrong.
Okay.
There is no question that the worst athletes collectively on a football field are offensive line. Would you agree with that?
They're a different type of athlete.
I agree with him. I agree with this guy. Actually, I've on this point, I've disagreed with everything Mark Schlereth's been saying and agreed with him on most everything.
Are they?
The one thing I'll say, though, is football is really, as a whole, relative to other sports, well, relative to basketball, it's not that skilled. It doesn't require that much skill at any position. It requires a good amount of intellect, and it requires you to be a physical, like an athlete, a really good athlete in some way, shape, or form. Some positions require more strength, but most positions every position requires a combination of different athletic abilities that are rare, right? Even quarterback. But for the most part, football is an intellectual sport at every single position. So even O-line is very, like, you got to be smart to play O-line even. Right, and O-line is one of the simpler. D-line, I would say, is the simplest. Like, that's the simplest, straight up. And if you're playing a lot of man coverage, cornerback becomes simple too. Extremely difficult, but simple. Not, like, difficult to understand, right? Not complex. But aside from that, there's a lot of intellect required to understand your fits, your what you're reading, everything, your keys, like everything is very complicated, bro. Post snap, pre snap, shit gets complicated because there's a lot of different formations you see, and you got to be mad smart. There are all these permutations of things that can happen on the field. So that's what football is to me. It's intelligence and physical capabilities. Skill is the tertiary thing in that equation, if you ask me. Because what skills, even for a quarterback, what skills are there really? You got to perfect your 2 or 3 levels of throw. For the most part, the mechanics are really similar for all those. You got to run. You got to be rolling. You're able to roll out right and throw, roll out left and throw. Footwork is a little different on each of those. You got to be able to read defenses. That's all intellect, right? That's not a skill. And you have to be able to conflict climb, roll out, sense pressure. Again, some of that is skill, some of that is intellect. So, by my definition, I would say it's smarts and athleticism and then skill in football.
The worst athletes collectively as a group on a football field.
When it comes to sprinting down the field, I'd agree, but I think there's power and strength and the size is a different type of athlete compared to a receiver or quarterback.
I'm just letting you
I'd agree.
know that the worst athletes in the National Football League collectively are offensive linemen. There's no question. You can't argue that, okay?
We see some crazy broad jumps from them these days.
Okay.
They're explosive.
So name one other position in any sport where the worst athlete is expected to line up against a better athlete and win 100% of the battles.
Well, they don't always win 100% of the battles.
You're expected to. So if I play against you and you're an exceptional defensive lineman,
unfortunately,
and
not.
I give but if I don't win 65 out of 65 reps, if you get 1 sack, you go to the Pro Bowl, and I'm the piece of shit who gave up a sack. So,
Yo, LSU guy said that. What's his name, bro? Will something, the guy who went to the Patriots, lineman. He was like, if you give up 1 sack a game, you're gonna be working at Amazon. Whereas if they get a sack every game, they're gonna be drafted top 5.
it is exponentially harder to play offensive line than any other position. We are the last. Like I always think about this now. I've watched a corner transition to safety. I've watched a safety transition to linebacker. I've watched a linebacker put his hand in the dirt, transition to D-end, a D-end transition to defensive tackle, and a defensive tackle transition to offensive line. The transition from offensive line is fan. You can't go anywhere else. It's the last rung on the ladder. So we are the worst athletes on a football field, expected to win 100% of our battles. And if we don't, we're not considered good players. And that is why it's the
That's true, bro.
most skilled position in football, because you have to rely on leverage, you have to rely on skill, you have to rely on footwork, you have to rely on hand placement and understanding of the game to actually block guys who are better than you. If I blow by you as a point guard, I blow by you, you're a 7-foot center, and I'm a 6'2" point guard, and I blow by you and lay it up. We don't say, hey, that center's a piece of shit, he can't play defense. No, we say, hey, we got a great matchup. And that's my point about being being an offensive lineman and being the skill position. I will tell you this right now. I could take a football and throw it to anybody in here. They could catch it and throw it back to me. If we did one-on-ones right here, I would whip every one of your asses because I know what I'm doing and you guys don't.
Well, you played that position professionally. So
Correct.
I think to a certain, and we also didn't play
Advantage
receivers.
me.
But
All right, we're going to move forward. John Elway was better than Mahomes. I'm not going to comment on that because I didn't see John Elway play.
His rule changes made the league soft and less skilled. Oh, God.
Less skilled is tough. I don't know about that.
Oh, God. We got a race. All right.
Definitely soft. I don't know about less skilled.
Said they've made the league soft.
Yes.
What does that mean? So the league is now soft now. Are you saying the players are soft?
Players are softer than they used to be. The league is softer than they used to be. Yes.
Well, soft and softer than they used to be are different things, right? But why does that matter? Like, don't you love watching Ben Johnson versus Brian Flores trying to figure each other out on Monday night? Isn't that why you're watching football? Like, are you watching to get people's heads taken off? I don't get it.
Yeah, I like contact.
Me too, yeah, that's
You're
pretty-
right.
yeah,
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What are we talking about?
2010, you look at like the hardest hit compilation. before.
Right. Don't you want to see it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to see skilled football, and I want to
Now I'm
see
fired up,
I want to see physical football,
Baby, shut the. You want to let him talk? Like, damn.
and I want to make sure that when you're watching this game, you're like, those dudes are twisted, and
Do you
I
not
love
think that now?
I love that
You don't
aspect
think these
of it.
guys are twisted, man?
No, fuck no, I don't think that. I think those guys are perfectly healthy and sane. That's the problem.
There's no question that they're twisted, but there used to be a certain penalty for going over the middle of the football field.
But I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Bro, these little fucking routes that people catch nowadays, the shit that people even have the balls to try, pisses me off, bro. Like these bucket catches, like they'll drop it in a bucket like 15, 20 yards down the field with a safety over the top. How? Should be on a fucking stretcher, man. That shit bugs me to no end. You know how many hits I took, dude? Just during practice, playing receiver on a fucking hitch, get my head taken off for no fucking reason because somebody had a bad day. And I held onto the ball. You know how many defenseless hits I've taken? Bruh. Dog. From monsters, bro. Go look up James Gibson. Look up James Gibson. I'm not even going to lie. This guy played at my high school. Go look it up. Go look it up and see if he played at West Point, all right? And he had a massive hit, Sports Center top 10 for like 3 weeks in a row or some shit. Motherfucker could hit. Bro, I got my head taken off by that guy. I've mossed him before too. Now I've gotten him too, but like not in that way. But he took my shit right off on an onside kick. Like no bullshit. I caught the ball, held onto the ball too. Ask anybody at Westfield High School class of 2015, 2014, 2016, that's about it. Ask anybody. I was on Hans' team on an onside kick. I was the bitch, right? They kicked it to me. If you guys play football, you know on the onside kick, like somebody's the bitch when you're on the Hans team because that's the guy they're trying to kill. They're gonna kick the ball at him, right? So I was the bitch on that play. Caught it, boom. I was on the ground. Everybody was like, "Oh shit!" Guess what? I held onto the ball, got right up. That's toughness. You're fucking pussy, bro. I would take your head off. You're talking about some bullshit. Do you think it's softer? Do you think like, oh, is it good to hit each other like that? Is it like civil? Dude, go watch baseball. Please. They got plenty of calm, tranquil energy over there. Go do that.
changed, right? If we want to watch people get separated from consciousness, you come over every Saturday night in my mom's basement. I watch the UFC. If you want to ever come, you can do it.
Okay.
There's boxing. There's the UFC. There's fighting.
Right.
The NFL isn't that, right? There are still plenty of big time hits. I sometimes cringe, and I played fullback at the Division I level. So I mean, I
take everything back that I said.
cringe sometimes at these hits because there are still big hits.
So-
So you're not allowed
Hey.
to take someone's head off over the middle. So what?
I'm 100% with
Everything except the fact that I'd still take his head off. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck it.
you
Who cares, bro?
on that.
I'm a
I don't
grown-ass man.
Like, I don't like the fact that we have dumbed down the rules
Actually, I don't take anything back.
to the point where you can't play
But
defense.
fullback, a Division I fullback, like, I mean, I got to give this guy his respect, right? Like, at the end of the day, if you played fullback at a D1, you are a tough son of a bitch. It's just that simple. Like, you definitely are tough as fuck. Like, you didn't play receiver at a D1. You played fullback. So, okay, all right, I'm going to back off. But still, what are you thinking, brother? Like, you must know. Shit's changed and shit is whack now.
Anymore. That bothers me. I'm not one of those guys that has to see a 45 to 40 game.
Yeah.
Like, I can find value and excitement in a 10-7 just slug.
That's more exciting. I'm telling you, I'm not fucking lying. Less scoring makes the game more exciting. Believe it or not. If you're really watching the game and you're invested, it makes everything more significant. A broken play becomes a huge deal. One slip up, one little strategic error by one player on the field, one mental error, massive, can change the game. everything matters more. The value of everything significantly increases because points are hard to come by. If you're gonna play, Chiefs and Rams, that day really pretty much ruined football for me. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was like fucking 65-56 or some shit. Chiefs Rams. This was like 6, 7, 8 years ago. 6, 7 years ago. 8 years ago maybe. We're talking about a Monday night, Sunday night game. Maybe it was a Thursday night game. It was a fucking primetime game, and they just ran that motherfucker up. And it was like, what is this? What am I watching? They're just throwing it around like it's fucking the backyard, man. Like, the backyard wasn't this egregious. We hit each other harder in the fucking backyard with no pads on when I was a kid.
Fast. Because I like that
We're
stuff.
first talking about, which I agree with. I was sitting over there getting excited when you're talking about offensive line play in the trenches, right? So has that changed much in the trenches, the rule set? Not really, right? So we're talking about, like, you said you're not able to play defense. You're not able to hit players helmet to helmet. And the rules went in for player safety, and I think that's okay. And I usually don't take that stance. Like, before every game when I was growing up, we all grew up in the generation where you're watching, like, epic hardest hit compilation on YouTube, 2008, right? That's what we grew up on. So I love that stuff. But it's went in for play. I mean, these are real human beings, right? So if we're...
These are real human beings with the ability to make a decision to not play football. Just don't play. You know what we used to say, bro? They used to say, if somebody got cracked, right? I remember one time, kid got taken the fuck out. Just a regular, like, it was like good on good or something like that. And somebody just got fucking cracked. It was like 2s on 2s at that point. Because you know how when you do like scrimmages, you do like a drive. It was like 2s on 2s. Someone got taken out. And one of the coaches was like, you just made a basketball player. And like pat the dude who hit him on the back. You know what I mean? That's culture, bro. I mean, that's just like, you know what I mean? He's like, somebody called the basketball coach.
Going to put in rules that make it slightly less exciting, or in your case, you're saying they're not freaking tough like they used to. I'm okay with that. And, we still get a relatively similar product.
I understand that. I'm not going to argue that.
But the thing is, it's like, what value did you find in the game to begin with? To me, it was the toughness. That was what was dope about football. That's what set it apart. Football, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And now you take that out, like, what are we left with? What are we really left with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, it's not great, but people used to get hazed in the locker room. That shit was funny as fuck. It happened to me. But it was hilarious, bro. People used to get, like, bro, like, all the shit that they want to take out now, and it's like, oh, well, you can't do that. That's toxic. It's like, bro, we used to do the dumbest shit. Like, I just remember, like, the most respected, that was close. The worst things, man, like, used to happen. The funny, like, they were hilarious, though. But, like, I can never forget that, bro. That was, like, the funniest time of my life. Damn, like, it was, like, camaraderie. It was, like, hilarious, bro. All these like-minded dudes from all these different backgrounds who were just all unanimously pieces of shit. Just scum of the earth, bro. Everybody. Like, come on, bro. Can we have it? Can we have that? Can you just let us have that, bro? Nah, you can't, I guess. This is why we gotta stop letting outsiders in, for real.
I want the players to be as safe as they can be.
Yeah.
But this is an inherently dangerous sport.
But who benefits from these rule changes? The players, right? So I understand what you're making.
Do they?
You don't think? Go ask what Austin Colley's doing right now. Speaking of hospital walls, going across the middle.
But the players are less skilled today because of the rules that have been created.
Austin Colley probably enjoyed all the limitless puss in the world when he was playing and made a calculated decision like, fuck it, dude. I'm probably going to be fucked up doing this shit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a decision you make. It's worth it, okay? It's worth it. And if it's not worth it, don't do it. Don't do it. There are plenty of tough guys that'll do it.
So, yeah.
And it's not, look, man, at the end of the day, you're not going in there like, oh, I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to get hurt. You're going in there thinking, fuck it, I'm going to fuck someone up.
You make a ton of money But what's happened in today's game is because of a lot of these rule changes, and a lot of this has to do with the salary cap and some of the other things that go on, is you've taken the middle class of the National Football League and you squeezed it to the point where there's very little middle class left. There is the haves that get paid a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of rookies who probably shouldn't be in the league, and the middle class has been squeezed. And it's probably one of the issues that I'm very passionate about, because that has completely changed based upon the safety rules. And that's why, to me, the game's a little bit less skilled than it was.
I'm not gonna lie. This is top tier old man babble. I do think that to say that the game has gotten softer and
Is that Fred Smoot's kid? Bro, he looks like him, bro.
less skilled it's an oxymoron, because if you're playing back then, right, and everything is super tough, you have to be super strong, that's fine. As the rules have changed, now you have to actually be skilled to be successful instead of just being able to take a million hits over and over again. And so if you're sitting here and you're trying to advocate, like, yes, we should have those.
Yeah, I agree with him. It's more skilled now. There's more focus on skill. Skill matters. You could be all skilled as you wanted back in the day, and you'd still just get cracked and taken out. Now, where's your skill now, buddy? That shit's going to the locker room with you, bruh. Like, fuck that skill shit. Take a hit. Be a man. Hit somebody. But that was the energy.
Very, very debilitating hits. I don't know how we can look at those hits and look at some of the products of where people are at right now and say that is a positive thing.
That's not what I'm saying. Most of the guys that I played with, many of the guys that I played with, got their bells rung multiple times. There's not a game that I played in the National Football League where I didn't black out at some point, where I didn't get hit and black out or see stars. If you play this game, you're going to get injured. I've had 29 surgeries over the course of my career, right? I've been knocked out hundreds of times. Like, the bottom line is I'm continuing to move forward, and I'm continuing to be passionate about the game that I love, and I don't want to see it get watered down to the point where it's unrecognizable to people who love it.
And I feel that, but if you could have went through your career and not blacked out every game, let's say you blacked out instead of 4 times a game, you blacked out 2 times a game. If that's already an improvement. And so I think by saying, like, yes, the game is inherently dangerous. You say that you're in a car crash every single play. If you have that on top of all of the other stuff that people deal with, if you can minimize some of the car crashiness and then still set people up, there's that. And then
All right, so then listen. Let me use this analogy. If you do MMA, I've trained MMA a little bit. I'm complete ass. I mean, I know how to do a little bob, and you know what I mean. I know my little shits right here, my kicks, and I know my basic shits. But in MMA, power is a factor because you want to knock somebody the fuck out. You want to see someone hit the mat, bro, and you might get on that bitch with them, bro, and beat the shit out of them for real. That's MMA. That's UFC. It's like MMA for the most part, right? But Taekwondo, the way Taekwondo is played is it's all taps. It's all techniques. You're not trying to hit. They'll disqualify you if you fucking kick the shit out of someone. They'll disqualify you for that shit. You don't see MMA taking that rule on and being like, oh, well, we don't want people getting hurt. We don't want, we're trying to cater to everybody's sensitivities here. We're inclusive. And I'm like, football, everything should be inclusive in terms of like immutable characteristics, race, sexuality, gender, etc., that type of stuff. Yes. But toughness is a non-negotiable. Okay, and willingness to do dangerous shit, it's a non-negotiable. My parents didn't want me to play football. Bro, I'm Indian, bro. You think my parents wanted me to play football? My dad was okay with it. My mom was like, what the fuck are you doing running around with these thugs and hitting each other? That shit ain't no, like, she didn't talk like this, but like, you know what I mean? She was like, that's disgusting. Why would you do that? And I was like, fuck you, Mom. You guys think I'm kidding? Literally, bro. I'm playing football. That's how much I love that shit. So you gotta have that, bro. And if you're not, now you're letting all these fucking fruitcakes into the game and getting a helmet with a visor and all this drip and shit, and they just are soft as fuck.
I agree with the safety aspect. I want it to be as safe as it can be. It's inherently dangerous and it's not safe. So let's not pretend that we're going to make it safe.
No,
Let's not, let's not
understand
pretend that it's going to get safe.
I understand that, but I do think that if you can take steps to do it, then to a certain point, then you should do that.
Right.
Now
So
now
that's
hold
where we
on, hold on.
agree. To a certain point.
To a
Not
certain
the
point. I
where it becomes
understand
flag
that.
football.
But also, when I first came up here, I also said it's top tier old man Bible because every generation feels the same way about the people that are coming after them. They're going to look at them. They're going to say that they're soft. They're going to say that the way that they're doing things is the wrong way, that they've changed things to where it's unrecognizable. The way we play football now, the way you played football.
That's fair. Every generation says that, right? Every generation does say that. Like, they say that about basketball now, and I'm saying that about basketball now. And back, it's at one point the 3-point line was, like, weird. Like, why the fuck are they doing that? That's, you know what I mean? Someday they'll have a 4-point line, and I'll have checked out by then.
In your time,
If you know what I'm saying. No, I'm kidding, YouTube.
it's completely different than how Jim Brown was playing football. And I don't think that Jim Brown was looking at you and saying, this is unrecognizable. This is terrible football. Everything always evolves. And so to say that today is...
I disagree, though. Like, with football, if you look back, like, I think they got more resources and more trainers and shit. Like, yeah, these guys, back in that time with Jim Brown, that era, they'd pop their fingers out. Like, I've seen... Bro, I just want you to know something. As a kid, like, I know everything about football. But they would pop their fingers out and just keep playing. They'd, like, you know what I mean? It was fucked up what they were doing. And, obviously, like, the new shit, the trainers, like, you sit out, you do this. Like, that shit is all probably, like, they thought that was whack. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, the hits were still there. The football was still there. That like, bro, Sean Taylor played in the 2000s, bro. Killer. Ray Lewis played in the 2000s. That was probably the peak. Like, 2010, right around there is when it started to, like, crescendo and go down.
So different, and just because it's different that it's worse, I think that that's wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think that it's worse per se. I think that it's less.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? There's a lot of fucked up shit that happens in football too. Like, kids pass away on the practice field and the turf because the coaches are running the shit out of them. That type of shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah. We could maybe look. I mean, that's not acceptable, right? I don't know, bro.
Skilled than it was.
Man, you know how many times I puked during, like, summer workouts? We'd fucking show up to the field before we were allowed to have pads on. It was voluntary. Voluntary high school shits, bro. We had a good high school football team. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't even play in college. This is high school. But our high school was run like a college, to be honest. They'll be honest. You can ask anybody about Westfield High School in Virginia, the real one, not the ones there are a couple other Westfields around the country. Westfield High School, 6A, Northern Virginia, Chantilly, Virginia. Ask about us in the 2010s. Like, bro, like, you know how many times I puked and just kept going? And I kept running and shit like that. Like, that shit is hard, bro. That's hard. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, but then it became a thing where it was like my identity. My core identity is, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna do this shit. Period. There's no two ways about it. Like, I'm doing this. I'm finishing this. I'm gonna fucking do this. I started this project at work. I'm gonna crush this shit and I'm gonna do it. It's getting tough. Like, I started this thing. I'm trying to become a really good shooter in basketball. Never gonna stop. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep going forever. Whatever it is I do, it's like, that's because of football. And that's because of football, period. Not like football contributed to my character. That's not, no. It's because of football. That's where I learned how to be me.
Because
how to not give a fuck, for real.
That they're soft and unskilled, that is the meaning of today's league.
I said it's made it softer. It has made the league softer.
And less skilled, which is the meaning of
less skill. No, it's not demeaning, it's fact. It has
to
nothing,
you.
It has nothing to do with demeaning, it's just a fact.
To you.
I mean, I like to
you.
Right.
All right, let's move on from this one. Playing Madden does not mean you understand the game of football. I agree, but Madden does actually help you. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the 98 Broncos, so, all right, let's see.
He was never playing football.
Madden helped me understand the game a lot, I'm not going to lie. Like, in addition to watching football, playing Madden, calling my own plays and running shit, and also playing football and, like, learning everything, Madden was, like, a somewhat of a pillar in my football mind's development.
On your level, I only played in high school, but when I look at my level of knowledge, how it has grown as I've gotten older, it goes from just playing defensive line in high school to then I go through college, I'm playing Madden, I'm coaching flag football now at the youth level, and those experiences have taught me why you would run certain concepts against certain coverages. It has informed how I view the NFL on a weekend to weekend, Monday to Thursday basis. So I don't think it's the end all be all, and there's certainly people that view, oh, I'm good at this one play because of the way the game's coded. But you can use it as a tool to inform your knowledge of football.
I definitely think that, one, playing Madden football, exposes you to concepts and things of that nature. But the bottom line for me is that when you talk about the in-depth nature of playing the game and what you're trying to accomplish as a football team, as a football player, and what you're trying to expose to a defense or an offense for that standpoint, Madden really doesn't get you into understanding, like, what is the difference between a gap scheme versus a zone scheme versus a duo versus, like, give me the front.
I hear you, yeah. It doesn't. But if you understand that stuff to begin with, then you can sharpen and kind of get reps in on Madden a little bit. I'll tell you, some of those animations make a little bit of this detail stuff irrelevant because it's just animation based. Anyway.
Like a three front is what kind of front is a three front?
3 down linemen.
It is a odd front. So a 4 front is a what?
Even front.
Okay, great. Now we're on. How about a 2? What does a 2 front stand?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, you're not 100% sure. So a 2 front would be an under front. A 5 front would be a
over front.
Over front. Great. So we're having a conversation now, right? So if I say a
6 down is bear.
25 front, then the 5 relates to the linebackers. Where do the linebackers?
See, I played D-end when I was like 14. No. I was like 12. Like 11, maybe. I was a fucking dog. But it was see ball, get ball. I don't even understand all this shit. I know the techniques, obviously, like 0-2-2-I, all that shit.
Line up in a 5 front. In a 25 front. The second number indicates linebacker alignment, and the front number is the front. The first number is the front. So a 5 would be a what?
Over front.
A 5 front, but a 5 at the linebacker spot. So 25 front would be an under front. The 5 would be the will backer off the ball, Sam backer on the ball.
So I would 100% agree. Like, not everyone, even myself, would know like the intricacies of over fronts, under fronts when it comes to that.
Right.
But I would think when it comes to certain things for someone like myself or someone a more casual fan than myself, and then there's an expert of the game like yourself who actually played in the NFL and has been in meeting rooms, I think there's just a certain element to when we want fans to be a little bit more educated of the game where they can look, oh, we'd run this certain route concept versus cover 3 in order to beat the corner over the deep third over the top. So I think that's where my perspective's coming from, because I don't think anything can really compare to an NFL player's experience being in those meeting rooms and getting paid to do it on a week-to-week basis.
Yes, I won.
All right, Mark, here's the thing.
I'm not going to lie. Schlereth is a little old man coded here. Like, he's slowing down a little bit, you know?
I do agree with you, right? As somebody who played college football at the Division II level, there are so many different things. You were just talking about defensive fronts, what a cloud coverage is versus a normal cover 4, cover 2 versus cover 2 Tampa, all of the things that are going to get discussed in film study and in meeting rooms.
Sure.
I think that Madden can be a valuable tool, as somebody was saying previously. I've done quarterback trainings and coaching sessions to younger guys, middle school, high school. I think there's a lot for them to learn from playing Madden and not jumping into games or playing online competitively, but jumping into practice mode, trying things out, looking at different defenses. I think there are things that on a very low level can be learned from Madden, but I think realistically, when you're getting down to X's and O's, what guys are being paid millions and millions to do is very different from the armchair quarterback that's watching on Sunday and on Monday morning thinks he knows what he's watching because he played Madden.
Of course, he makes a good point. I mean, I would go further, though, and say that game management stuff you can learn in Madden. right? Clock management, things like that. Madden's not bad for that. Some of the newer games I think they have like these features and shit with like the clock rundown, auto run, some shit like that. They just like teleport you to the line. That shit. I mean, but there were renditions of the game where you could learn literal game management things, like when to kick a field goal, when you should go for it, when you should go no huddle, when you should shit like that too. But yes, a complex schematics things, evaluation, stuff like that, you're not going to learn from Madden.
100% agree with that, right? There's a lot of people that think they watch Madden or played Madden, so that translates to me understanding the game at a higher level. I think one of the big issues with today's players and the coaching that goes on today is because of time constraints, because of the way we operate, because of the lack of practice and the things that we work on, there has been nuance that has been lost along the way. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with the NFL. How do we actually continue to advance the game when some of the nuance is lost? And I'm 100% with you. It's so funny for me, being an NFL analyst, I'm in the locker room every week. Most of the kids that play today don't know that I played. Like, most of them don't. And it's really interesting because, like, for me, I grew up watching the NFL. I fell in love with the NFL as a kid from Alaska, right? So I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. Used to watch them every morning. I thought it was awesome with Terry Bradshaw and Lynn Swann and Stallworth and Franco Harris and, and Mike Webster, the center, was my favorite player growing up, so I'm a little bit twisted. But, it's interesting. I knew the history and all that stuff. Most of the kids that play in today's league, and I'm not saying it's bad, it's just the way it is, most of them don't have a history of the league. Most of them don't know.
Yeah, fanhood has changed so much, bro. It's different, bro. It's very different. It's just different.
Guys that played 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they have no idea because their knowledge of football or their love of football was really born from playing, Madden football, which it's an incredible statement about what Madden has done culturally in this country. But it's just really interesting to me how it's.
I remember when I first played football. My buddy was like, "Yo, you should come play this football, like, for this football team." It was like I was like a kid, right? And he was like, "You should ask your parents." And I was like little, I was like, "Dude, am I gonna get hurt?" Like, you know what I mean? That's what I was asking. I was like, "What the fuck?" And bro, I mean, I don't know, man. That's just funny. But that was my man's though. But like he ended up playing Division I basketball actually. But bro, like, and then he just convinced me to do it, and I was like, fuck it, let's go. Bro, you can't not love football. Like, it's unbelievable, bro. When you start playing football, I mean, yeah, it's just.
Change from my generation to the next generation.
I think it's important to highlight, though, that the history of the game is so important. There are Maddens across the years, right? Not just your current generation, not just your current year, but there are Madden editions that have historical elements. Basically historical recreations of games that you could jump into. And they have rosters and they have proper depth charts and proper stats from back in the day where kids can learn some of the history of the game.
Sure.
I know in specifically Madden 09, you have the whole season's worth of like moments to.
By the way, playing D2 football, that takes a love of the game. D3 takes, you gotta love that motherfucker to play Division III football, bro. Anyway. Alright, guys, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this. Had some takes in here, you know what I mean? Do me a favor. Let me know what I should talk about in the comments, okay? And, yeah, man. Alright. Love y'all. Peace. Man, I'm downtown right now, trying to go home from work. Let me tell you, man, sometimes you got to switch lanes to keep moving forward. That's not about traffic, that's about life. Think about it. I wanted to quickly comment on the notion that a 4-point line should exist. I'm personally against it. I don't think it would be, like, too terrible if it did exist, but here's the reason I'm against it, right? The main argument is that people are shooting the ball more and we should have a 4-point line. I think the game should just remain the game and that there's some merit to how it is right now and just allowing people to adapt within the confines and the construct of the existing game. If you change it, of course people are going to get better at shooting the 4-point shot. And people use that a lot. Like if you add the 4-point shot, then people are going to get better at the 4-point shot. And some people are like, oh, it's going to kill driving, yada yada. It's just going to change the game. And I love the game the way it is, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. So why add a 4-point line? At the end of the day, yes, people are going to get good at it, and it might be exciting to watch, but that's just a stupid argument. If you made it a 10-point shot and it was just shooting it from behind the other baseline, and you were just chucking it overhand, like straight up like a quarterback, right? People will get good at that too. Like there would be at least like 5-10 people out there just in the world just training that and making it, maybe more. And eventually they would make it to the league because they get signed because they could hit that shot at like a 20% clip or something like that, 15%, whatever it might be, right? And they could just throw it in from there and they get 10 points for the team, and it would just end up being something that people did. Of course it's going to change the game. That's like saying if I invented a new game and paid people millions of dollars to be good at it, somebody would get good at it. Duh. Does that mean we should change this, though? Like, there's really no argument for the 4-point line. Just because people are getting good at shooting threes, that was kind of the natural progression after, like, 25, whatever, however long it's been, like 35, 45 years after the invention of the 3-point line. People figured out, this is what I should do. This is just going to get me, this is going to be a competitive advantage to a great degree. And it was kind of slowly happening, if you think about it. And so when you do the 4-point line, that'll happen. But what purpose does that serve? It doesn't make any difference. At the end of the day, if somebody gets so good at shooting half-court shots wide open that it makes sense to shoot that for 3 points, then they might as well just do that, right? If they're shooting 60, 70% in practice from half-court, 50% maybe, then in game you can just start pulling up from half-court. Now you got to force somebody to guard that. Makes it so much easier to drive, right? I might have digressed a little bit and jumped around, but I think overall the point stands, and that 4-point shot is pointless.